This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, and the stories that leads today's show are as follows. City broadband in Fort Collins, Colorado wins large. SpaceX has an engine explosion. Logitech is in the doghouse, big time. And we're going to talk about therapy via text message. Of course, all those plus all the news of the day. I want to welcome you to episode 1239 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, November 9th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can also support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider or simply paypal.me/geek news. You can pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Got a great show lined up for you today. I want to thank all of you for being here. And I think we're off to a good start on the show tonight. I don't think we have any equipment or operator-induced malfunctions. So everyone, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. And for those of you that are brand new, if you're checking the show out for the very first time, I want to make sure that you get over to geeknewscentral.com. And when you're on the website, it's real easy. I just want you to get subscribed to the show. And right on the right-hand column of the website, you can subscribe to Apple Podcasts on Android, email, via Google Play, via Stitcher, TuneIn, or an old school RSS feed. So really, that's what it's all about. And at the same time, we want you to get subscribed to the newsletter. That's a little bit further down the page, but all right there on the homepage at geeknewscentral.com. And we want you to visit Geek News Central Daily to read the great content put out by my great writing team. Definitely check out the articles. Stay over there. Subscribe to the blog as well. And that way, you'll never miss any of the content. And if you're signed up for the newsletter, you'll get the email immediately following the show that contains all the content that I'm going to talk about tonight during the podcast. Of course, if you want to reach out to me, you can do so via email at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. And of course, on Twitter, you can follow me at Geek News. And I want to thank all of you for the social media experiment we were doing. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And of course, if you want to join our Slack channel, just send me an email, tell you want to be part of the Slack channel, and I'll get you added to that. You can follow me on Google Plus or on Facebook just by searching for my name, Todd Cochran. You can watch this show on our Roku channel via the Tech Podcast channel, and we're over there, video and audio. Of course, the Apple TV has the audio and video portion of the show. You can listen on the Amazon Echo by telling that device through the Alexa word to play the latest edition of the Geek News Central podcast. Of course, you can listen on Stitcher, you can watch or listen on Blueberry.com, or you can tell your Google Home device to play the podcast Geek News Central. Partner shows include No Better Than Average with Jacob and Jeff, the Gadget Professor, Mr. Don Bain, the Pro Gear site written by my GNC team. Of course, we have lots of content that goes on with the new media show with Rob Greenlee and I that's produced every Saturday morning. And at some point, we'll add some more Podcast Legends episodes. But all those can be found, again, at geeknewscentral.com. Visit all the family of shows and definitely check them out. This show would not be possible with our good friends over at GoDaddy.com. And GoDaddy is been here through thick and thin. We are basically in contact with them on a regular basis to see how things are going. Sponsorship is on track for this month. Definitely appreciate it. But what we really want you to do, and, it's time to shop for Christmas, right? So this is what I tell you every year. If you haven't picked up a domain name for a loved one or bought your kids a domain name, and believe me, they may not appreciate it when they're 12 or 13 or 20, but when they're 25 and you have their domain name held on to it. So remember, I bought you that domain name when you were a kid. They're going to really love you. So pick up a domain name. There's lots of new top level domains there. If you pick up a .com, use my 99-cent promo code. Of course, I get a 30% off ticket as well available for you if you want to pick up new product purchases. And hosting is really where the game is at, where you save the most money with my deals. And whether it be $1 a month economy hosting with a free domain, yes, $1 a month for the first year for economy hosting, which gets you again a free domain with that. $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again with a free domain. So $12, get you online, get you a domain name, all at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. All the codes are over there for you to grab, pick or choose. You can copy it from the website or you can direct click on the link. It'll take you right to GoDaddy and lock in those savings. So definitely watch for it when you're getting ready to check out. What will happen, and I'll just tell you what normally happens, is if you pick up a WordPress hosting account, you're going to get to the checkout counter and say, Todd, that's not $12. That's 122 or whatever it may be on the level plan you pick. What they try to do is you get the first year for 12, but then they'll add a couple more years. Now, it's a good way to bundle it up and save money on discounts, but you also can come back in year 2 and do a 2 or 3 year plan and get a much cheaper discount as well for a staggered year. But if you want to just get started, change the term to 1 year and you're good. And of course, for business owners, we got the website builder trial is available as well. And all the codes start with CJC, GNC, whether it be 30, 99, 1HS, WP1, CJC, GNC free. These are all codes that you can use at GoDaddy that they've been so, basically provided for me to make sure you guys have good value for value. But anyway, thanks for GoDaddy for being a continued sponsor here at the show and helping us keep our lights on. All right. Okay, so let me get into my little stack of notes before we get into the talk, or to the show, the talk. So what I did is I'm really frustrated right now. The local internet in Hawaii has been perfect. 330 is what I've been averaging on doing a local speed test. But as soon as we go outside the Hawaiian Islands and I go to San Francisco, LA, anywhere, the speeds have dropped dramatically. And I'm getting like 30, 40 megs down. Something is amiss. And I've been boldly complaining on Twitter, and Spectrum they're a whole different animal now. JUNK, junk. They do not care about, as long as their local internet works good, and once they get past. So my contention has been is that they're throttling, because I never used to have this issue. It used to be 160, 170. I understand it's not going to be 330 to the mainland. That's 5,000 miles away through fiber to get there. I'm not expecting 330, but I was getting mini tests, 170, 200, 20 up, so it was not an issue. But right now, the bandwidth is like I'm paying for like a 50 meg connection back to the mainland, and this doesn't work as well, and with kids gaming and everything else. So on Facebook, I basically put a call out on my Facebook page and I gave everyone exactly what to tweet, and I think about 20 to 25 of you helped me out and were tweeting, and we were basically sending a message to Hawaii Telecom. Geek News needs a 1 gig connection. And this is what I want here, what I've wanted for 2 years. I've been bugging them. They've told me 2 years ago that we could get 1 gig fiber in 2 years, and 2 years is up, and it's still not available in this area. So basically, I've been nice about it because I want them to work with me to try to, and basically I'm willing to pay to have the fiber brought in from, I know where it's at. It's not that far, but I'm also worried about how many thousands of dollars that is going to be. But a long story short here, I really want this higher speed connection, just because I'm sick of what the situation is with Spectrum, and they're not listening. And I was barely on the edge as it was, and but late this afternoon, I mean, like almost past quitting time at Hawaii Telecom, I get a message from them, a direct message that says, and I sent them. This started yesterday. They responded. They said they were going to pass it to the engineering team. And today I kind of did a gentle prod. And then late this afternoon, I get another direct message from Wyantel says that there's a chance. And I was like, so they said, send me your email, give me your direct telephone number. And I'm like, please, 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 make this happen. So thank you, everyone, for participating in the little social media experiment to try to get their attention. I'm hoping that, they can leverage a little bit of the audience here, and you know, I would be a big, big advocate. I'm gonna go knock on all my neighbors' doors if I have to. They may tell me you need to find 10 neighbors that will get 1 gig, and then I'm gonna be on a hunt. I'll be like, I'll subsidize your first 3 months. Do whatever we can to get fiber down here. And I know where the drop is. I know where the closest location is because the guy told me. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. No promises. But yeah, that's my fingers are crossed in a big, big way because it would solve a whole bunch of things. I would immediately cancel Spectrum. They would be out of here, and I'd have one internet connection, and everything would be awesome because it's 1,000 megs down, 100 megs up. Game over. Solution. Never going to need a higher speed internet ever, ever again. And so anyway, that's what's going on here. So just as an update, some of you saw the picture of the new gears here. The install goes tomorrow. I'm going to do an unboxing video and show this off a little bit. The studio has been changed. The Ohanasaurus is now wired up completely for NDI. It's in the network, so it's ready to be network video to the new box. So really, I'm pretty set. I just gotta pull the box out, do the old box, put the new box in, get everything wired up, and then my son is chomping at the bit because he wants to build the studio in the garage. So that'll probably happen this weekend too, at least the start of it. And green screen, the whole 9 yards. But the cool thing is, I could actually do a green screen show from there, run the TriCaster, basically stream here over the network, and it's going to be fun. So we're going to have a little fun with it as we move on here. Audio tweaking took place. The audio is looking fine, sounding fine. I guess everyone that's on, if you're on Facebook tonight, if you're on live listening, please say hello. Want to hear from you. And but anyway, I think we're back to normal till I break everything tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes on Monday's show. But I have a Saturday show, so if you want to see entertainment, that might be an entertaining show to watch. But even I fixed some audio problems back here, so that's even better. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. And those of you on YouTube, definitely remember we're at live.geekandcentral.com as well. Thanks for tuning in for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the stack of stuff tonight. And the first thing I want to talk about is this vote that happened in Fort Collins, Colorado yesterday that approved a ballot question that authorizes the city to build a broadband network, rejecting a cable and telecom industry campaign against the initiative. Fort Collins voters said yes to this question with a 57.15% of the vote. And it amazes me that it was only 57%. But industry groups tried to convince voters to reject the Muni broadband network. The city's mayor called it a misinformation campaign by the broadband incumbents. He says, I was very encouraged with the passage today, and particularly with the headwinds of incumbents trying to misinform the electorate. Mayor Wade Troxell said of the Coloradoan. The anti-municipal group called Priorities First Fort Collins spent $451. Now, tell you how much money is in broadband. They spent $451,000 campaigning against the broadband network ballot question. Priorities First Fort Collins received nearly all of its funding from the Colorado Cable Telecommunications Association, a group run by the city's Chamber of Commerce. And of course, Comcast is a member of both groups, and Comcast was would potentially hear the big loser. And the Pro Muni Broadband Group spent less than $10,000 in the campaign. So this is a big win, big win for the folks at Fort Collins, and they're going to have, we hope, gives them some choices in competition. So it's good to see this happen, and I'm a big, you guys know, I'm a big fan of Muni Broadband. I really am, because I saw what Muni Broadband did in the little town that I live close to when I was growing up, when no one else, matter of fact, even today, no other cable companies will come in and bring in broadband. And it's the Muni that serves a small community of about 25,000. Comcast isn't there. There isn't a big, big other major ISP. So I'm a big fan of Muni Broadbands, and we've talked about this many times on this show. So congratulations to those of you that live in Fort Collins, Colorado. Hey, today SpaceX blew up a motor. An explosion occurred during a test of SpaceX Merlin engine, on Saturday, November 4th, at their company's test facility in McGregor, Texas, according to a statement obtained by Space.com. No one was injured, and all safety protocols were followed during the time of this incident. According to the statement, we're now conducting a thorough and full, transparent investigation of the root cause. The explosion occurred in a test of a Block 5 engine. Now, what's currently flying and doing all the missions is a Block 4. So the Block 5 is going to be used later, and this happened during a block saturation test. So the engine wasn't firing, but something blew. Now, the test bay where the explosion took place may take 2 to 4 weeks to repair, and they will have to figure out what happened here. But, the Block 5s are not yet certified for flight, so they'll figure this out, make the tweaks that they need to, and get these things back in shape and be able to rock and roll. So, boom, it goes. Those LOX explosions are very, very, very impressive and dangerous. Logitech, wow. They really stepped in a cow pie today. Bricking a device, which sometimes happens during a firmware update gone wrong, is never a good thing. It's even worse when a company does it to their devices intentionally. Now, listen to this. According to emails received by users, Logitech will intentionally brick all Harmony Link devices via firmware update as of March 16, 2018. Harmony Link is a smart device that's been around since 2011, which has very recently been on heavily discounted sales with only a 3-month warranty. Okay, so you think about this. They're selling now, December, January, February. They're trying to get rid of them, right? It's been replaced by what's called the Harmony Hub. That technology is cloud-based. Apparently, a company has chosen not to renew a license that the Harmony Link device uses. Well, people were PO'd in a big way. And following customer backlash, Logitech says that it will give all Harmony Link owners the new Harmony Hub free of charge. Previously, the company said it would only do so if a Link device was still under warranty, which they were selling ones with only 3-month warranties, and they were offering 35% off the new hub. But here's where a company has figured out that they really stuffed in the cow pie, and they said, I made a mistake. Head of Logitech Harmony, Rory Doley, explains to Wired. He says, we're doing the right thing by our customers, and we're going to do the right thing by our customers and do the right thing. So they were going to brick a device that they're selling right now in March. How mad would you be if you had one of these? Logitechs are, I get a Logitech mouse here. I got a Logitech roller mouse here. They're good products. but you just don't intentionally brick a device because you don't want to renew the license fee. Now, this gives you some idea that license fee must have been massive. If they're willing to go ahead and say, okay, we're just going to give everyone that has one of these a free upgrade, it makes you go, how much was that? Was the cost of that? Someone got greedy. All right, now, our smartphone in our pockets has been redefined in how we interact, and younger people, especially. Um, it's a constant connection to the world, and some of us are a little bit miserable about that at times. But a South Korean study suggesting that more than 10% of internet using teens are at risk for depression. And this may explain um, a number of services like Talkspace that enables people to seek help with a mental health professional online. So, the stigmatism of getting mental health services can really stop a person from going when they should. There is times in people's lives where they should get some therapy. It's needed. And talking to a parent sometimes doesn't count because we don't understand our kids or whatever. So rather than trek through a receptionist area and laying on a couch, users can simply reach into their pockets and get help. The e-therapy platforms offer a variety of options from a Skype video and phone calls to a more instantaneous text-based chat protocol. Talkspace claims to have around 500,000 users engaging with more than 1,000 professionals. So this is interesting. This is an interesting development here. Talkspace plans begin at $32 a week, for which you can talk to a therapist once a day via text. For $39 a week, you're entitled to two check-ins per day, while for $49 a week, you can get that plus an additional half-hour live session. So other services charge similarly prices, charging anywhere from $150 to $280 a month. Now, I don't know if this is insurance companies are going to cover this or not, but and I don't know how insurance works a lot with how therapy works with insurance. But one of the benefits here is instant or near instantaneous, um, discussion with your therapist. Now, are you going to talk to the same person every time that knows your history and what you're going through and the issues, or do you get a substitute when you're reaching out at 2 o'clock in the morning? I don't know that, but I think there are still risks with switching from a direct doctor patient model to an Uberized market. Um, we have to make sure that people needing mental health services get the right level. The consequences of not doing so um, is life affecting, right? So anyway, it's an interesting model. I'm just I don't know, I'm torn on this. Now, personally, I've never had to do any therapy. Now, this show is kind of like therapy. When my mom and I did the Sherry cast after my dad died, that was kind of like therapy. But it was just us talking, right? And with a therapist, that's what you do, right? You talk and they ask questions and have a dialogue. So podcasts in a way can almost be therapy, but we're doing tech therapy today. So I just find this very fascinating. We'll see how it works. But my concern is what happens when you have a distraught individual that can't call an emergency number and something tragic happens, you know, or someone doesn't reply immediately to a text for help. Um, it'll be curious to see how they put safeguards in for people that are having a crisis moment. It really would be. But anyway, interesting article. I'll have it linked up in the show notes. It's an article over on engadget.com. One thing that I found by working out is that it is much more pleasurable to spend that 1 hour on the elliptical listening to some music track. And for a while, I'm about AC/DC'd out right now. I listen to a lot of AC/DC. I'm gonna listen to every song AC/DC ever put out over the past 10 months, at least 10 times. So I've sampled every album top to bottom via Apple Music. So now I'm back. I'm doing some 90s pop, and so I'm kind of mixing it up. What I really want to find is anyone that has any good beat tracks for working out, please share. But um, I've got a huge music library of my own from years and years and years, and bought. I had 12-inch remixes, and I literally had thousands of LPs. And because it's DJing, right? We're gonna go way back here, but I've got a huge music collection that I digitized, and I think I had nearly like 40,000 different songs, complete albums, top to bottom on, so many artists, a lot of dance music, of course, because I was doing the DJ thing. But if you want to use your Apple Music with your personal iTunes music collection, sometimes you don't know how to connect to the divide. So there's some options here, and I'll have an article up in the show notes for you to check out. And this is both for the iPhone and the iPad to give you some help in syncing those up. But I'm paying for the Apple Music subscription right now, and thoroughly taking advantage of it, listening to music. I'm catching up on stuff that I was like, whoa, what's this? And stuff I haven't heard in years too. As it's a lot of fun. Energy consumption is quite a topic with me. I've been pretty spoiled ever since we put solar on, and have had an $18 phone bill. But now that my wife is charging her Nissan Leaf at the house every day and really not charging in town at all, my electricity bill is back up, and last month was 149, which, thinking about it, I'm already getting about $450 worth of free electricity because of my solar, and another 150 on top. And it just makes me go into panic mode because I'm thinking, oh my God, if I didn't have solar, my electricity bill would be $600. Now, the alternative is putting fuel in a vehicle, and it's still cheaper to charge than to put fuel in. So I'm going around and I'm being well, I'm everything it's on is getting turned off. Where computers were running, and we weren't going over. And also, we've had some cloudy days here in Honolulu, so my production's down 100 kilowatts or whatever. But there's all kinds of cool, since I haven't been really monitoring the power usage here at the house, there's lots of new cool tools that you can to monitor individual outlets. And right now, my garage and the gaming going on out there is highly suspect of being an energy pig. So they've got some cool gadgets now that weren't available before. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get one of these, and I'm gonna go out there. And my son, who seems to like to play games all night long and sleep during the day, and be a vampire. They've got this thing called the Wemo Insight Smart Plug. It's just a single outlet that does tracking. You can track how much energy is being consumed, and it's available for $40. And again, it's a Wi-Fi enabled control your lights, appliances, and it measures and manages your energy costs. And of course, there's some smart plugs out there available as well from TP Link. And I've had mixed results with some of these before, but the one that really got me interested was the Weon Smart Surge Protector, and tied to an app. That was pretty slick. And these are available for, how much are the prices on those? They don't say, but these are smart storage devices that, if you leave a power on, you can switch it off with your phone. But there's a couple of home energy monitors as well. They're available out there that start anywhere from $200 to $300. The one I keep seeing that come up in Facebook all the time is the Sense energy monitor. This is the one that I see an ad on all the time. But again, there's a whole bunch of stuff like Curb and a variety of other devices that you can tell where the energy is being consumed. I'm pretty sure I know where where the issue lays is in the charging of the car, but I need to get her on a 220 charger. I think that will help a little bit because she's charging off the 110 circuit right now, and we'll get the 220 wired up and see how that works. But maybe be a little more efficient on the charging and not take so long. Okay, so researchers are finding hundreds of easily breached messaging apps. This is incredible. The security of personal data is top of mind right now. We've all taken a hit here with Equifax and all the variety of stuff that has been released into the wild and probably end up in the Chinese or Russians' databases. But nearly 700 apps for iOS and Android were easily exploited to show private messages and calls. This is very, very troubling. Security company App Authority discovered the exploit dubbed eavesdropper and published its findings this morning. According to the company's research, up to 180 million Android devices could be affected, as well as an unknown number of iOS devices. At the high level, they discovered 685 apps that use the Twilio REST API or SDK for communication services, including calling and messaging. Twilio basically lets developers build those features into the app without having to write their own code. But there's a vulnerability here, and they can be eavesdropped on. So we will see where this leads. We'll see if Apple puts the hammer down. We'll see if Android does, if they start forcing these folks to update and have their own type of authentication and security. Only time will tell, but it's a huge issue. So the link is in the show notes. You can go to the published list and see if you've got one of these apps and consider whether you're going to continue to run the app or not. What happened here? Did we went down. Something happened. The video quit on Facebook. Or did it? Oh, no, I'm still alive. Huh. It said I was offline. Let me go over here and look at this real quick. And make sure I'm still up on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is good. Well, I guess I'm still up on Facebook. It looked like it had ended. Maybe it stopped on itself. Okay. Oh, I just clicked on an ad. Isn't that lovely? Let me close that. T-Mobile's LTE Advanced Network is now live in over 920 markets. So those of you that are on T-Mobile, look a little bit boosty speed here. The 5G future isn't quite ready for prime time, but a lot of networks are being built out. With T-Mobile recently announcing its lightning fast LTE Advanced Network, it should speed things up a little bit. It says twice as fast as those of what's capable of the traditional 4G LTE. Phones that can take advantage of LTE Advanced include the Samsung Galaxy S8, the Note 8, the Moto Z2 Force Edition, the LG V30. Of those 920 markets where those devices can use T-Mobile's LTE Advanced, 430 of them currently have access to gigabit class LTE speeds. Whoa. But again, a limited number of phones that actually can tap that. So if you've got one of those phones and you're in one of those markets, stand by. Over in CNET, they're saying Millennium Falcon is hiding in plain sight on Google Earth. Maybe Chewbacca stopped for a round of golf. Sharp-eyed Star Wars fans using Google Earth has spotted the legendary Millennium Falcon from the movie saga parked near Barrows Hill Golf Club in Surrey, England. So it sure looks like it's the deal. The Falcon is hidden from ground level spies by multicolored shipping containers, but it's pretty distinctive from above. So did they stash this here after the movies, or what's the deal? Now they're in trouble because this is out in the wild. People, let me see if I can find you the picture and bring it up for you. Okay, here's the Google Earth picture. It's covered by tarps, but that to me looks like something from Star Wars and a movie set. So, very exciting stuff here. Now, all you have to do, where do you search? You search for Long Cross Studios. Now, that's the film production facility where Last Jedi is filming. And, or you can go to Google Maps and search for Millennium Falcon Long Cross, and that will get you there as well. So, they've got it hid on the set, but he's got big shipping containers around it to try to keep it out of the public eye for sure. Very, very cool. Thank you, Google Earth, for showing us that. What else are they going to show us? What else are we going to be able to see? Hey, Chrome will start blocking annoying website redirects as part of Google's ongoing effort to make ad-ridden websites more bearable. The company is introducing some new protections to Chrome over the next few months. The browser will start blocking various types of annoying, unwanted redirects where a website or ad suddenly loads a new page, either because it's been hijacked or is a bad ad because intentionally wants to force users to see one. I hate those. I hate those ads that force you to see one, then you can't close them. But they're going to be they're going to be blocking those. So good on Google for doing that. Ford has announced that they're going to launch a brand new electric car just for China. Ford and Zotae are investing more than $750 million in a new joint venture. So they're partnering up on a new line of electric vehicles. They announced this past Wednesday creating a joint venture. They say that they will offer a range of stylish and affordable electric vehicles for consumers in China. It's a 50-50 partnership with the pair investing roughly $756 million. The as of yet unnamed brand will get its own dedicated R&D center and a new factory in Zhejiang province. Of course, a lot of announcements coming out of China with the president there at this moment. Daimler Chrysler's announced today that they're going to build a electric bus. It's a 100-mile electric school bus. It's going to hit the roads in 2019. It's called Julie, and it estimates that the 160 kilowatt batteries inside Julie will be enough for about 100 miles. There'll be an optional larger battery packs for less consolidated school districts as well. It can hold up to 81 students, and it looks like a regular school bus, but it comes from the Thomas Built Buses, a major supplier of school buses, as it happens, a North American Daimler subsidiary. And so very, very cool. The question is, will school districts be able to afford an electric bus, and what is the price difference in charging them or fueling them and all the maintenance stuff that goes along with it? So that is the word on the street when it comes to school buses. Very, very cool. Also, Waymo now is testing an autonomous vehicle without human safety drivers. Shortly after driving, car company Waymo was spun off from Google, announced a new generation of autonomous vehicles that were rolling out in real-world tests, like in select areas. Now Waymo is taking the next step towards a truly driverless vehicle by actually making them driverless. The company is conducting a limited test of its self-driving cars in Chandler, Arizona, again without a safety driver. Remember that bus system in Las Vegas with the automated vehicle? It wrecked within the first hour of being online. Yeah, I'll have that link up in the show notes on that one as well. Are you a solitaire fan? You like playing solitaire on your mobile phone? Kind of hard, yeah? A designer has a ongoing quest to make the perfect mobile solitaire. So if you're into playing solitaire, he's got a pretty cool lineup of games. And they'll work on your mobile phone that you can actually play and not get frustrated and smash your phone because you moved a card where you weren't planning to. But anyway, link will be up in the show notes on that, of course. The iPhone 7 is outselling the iPhone 8 in quarter three. It's interesting. Even with the eminent rival of the iPhone 10, 13 million consumers bought a new iPhone 7 in the third quarter. Analyst firm Canalys offered a breakdown of the 46.7 million iPhones that Apple reported selling in its Q4 period, with 13 million iPhone 7 shipments, which Apple discounted was the biggest selling phone in the calendar third quarter, followed by iPhone 6, 7.9. Apple sold 11.8 million iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus units in the quarter, well short of the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. The iPhone 7 is a wonderful phone, so I'm not surprised. But the whole breakdown here is available for those of you that are curious and want to check it out. All right. One thing I have to tell you guys, I'm at a point where I may replace this chair in the studio. It's not comfortable anymore, and I don't know why. It's just it's been here for many years. Maybe it's time for a change. So I'll be looking at chairs. I know you don't care, but I keep moving around in my seat. It's just because uh, and the chair hasn't changed that much. It's just not comfortable to me right now. And maybe it's because of all my workouts and muscle change. Maybe there's not as much fat on my butt. Who knows? YouTube says it's going to crack down on bizarre videos targeting children. And parents, don't let your young kids watch YouTube by themselves. As a matter of fact, your older kids need monitoring too. I was in my son's room yesterday and I'm like, what are you looking at? And he turned the computer and I said, don't hide the computer screen. When I come in here, I want to be able to see what you're doing at a glance. And so I took the laptop from him and looked at the browser history, and he hadn't been deleting anything. And everything he was looking at was, of course, what these kids are gaming videos and stuff from Twitch and so forth. So, but I didn't even know that these kid videos were like large on YouTube, and they get a lot of views, and they look like popular characters that are on TV. But some of these are really, 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 really bad and gross. So YouTube is going to be cracking down on these videos that do inappropriate things that are not suitable for young kids, in which these videos are targeting. So be careful what your kids are watching out there. All right. Android security audit, an 11-step checklist. So if you've got an Android phone, these are things you can do to kind of make sure your phone is locked down and secure. So I'll have a link up in the show notes on that for you. Also, if you've upgraded iOS 11, which most of us have, the Apple Pay Cash Guide, there's over on Macworld, they're giving information on what it is, how it works, what it costs. And basically, Apple Cash Pay allows us to do stuff similar to Venmo or Square Cash. You can send cash to a friend, person to person money. And it has a few caveats. So, and there's some requirements as well. And you have to set it up and have it all ready to go, but you can send cash via your phone. It's pretty slick. I'll have a link up for you to check that out. There's a new startup that makes buying a car as easy as ordering a pizza. It's called Shift. Buying a car, we all know, is a pain. Going into the dealer, dealing with it's just always insane. I call my bank and I say, okay, I'm going to be buying a new car, and they either write me a loan or I get a cashier's check ready if I've saved enough money for my next vehicle, or whatever it is. And but Shift will deliver a car to the home of a potential buyer for them to test drive. If you schedule one of these drives and decide that this is your new vehicle, you can buy it right there and then using the delivery person's iPad. No driving across town. Launched in 2013, Shift joined a growing number of automotive startups hoping to change the status quo in car selling market. It's joined by Carvana, which also delivers a car to owners but requires you opt to buy it first. And Shift's biggest competitor was the defunct Bepi, which did the same thing as Shift but shuttered and was absorbed by another automotive startup. So this is, I don't know if it's used cars or is it new cars only. So if you're a used car dealer in a place like Wichita, Kansas, where Shift might not open its own office, the idea of being the one place in town that makes it super easy for potential customers to buy a car could be, so they're working with used car dealerships. Huh. They're also working on servicing and everything else. So we'll see how this operates. But Shift is currently, sadly, only in California. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. A lot of times you get a used vehicle, you got to take that sucker and have it checked out, right? Hey, TripAdvisor is going to be marking hotels where sexual assault has been reported on their site. This is new. An employee committee decided this, and they will decide whether or not to add or remove a badge against a particular property. And regardless of the number of complaints, the property list will not be removed from TripAdvisor. But ladies, this is going to be good for you to show you if something has happened in that hotel. Senator Al Franken is slamming Facebook and Google's control of the press. He is out for blood. He noted that newspaper publishers spend money, time, and talent chasing down stories, but are beholden to companies that distribute them. And that would be Google, Facebook, and so forth. So he is very alarmed that they have this much power to, thread the needle here on the message they want put in front of folks. And if you think about this, how oftentimes are you reading stuff in your Facebook news feed and you get an article and there's like, why are they pushing this to me? You should know my profile by now. And some of that is very interesting, and what all of a sudden just pops up into our news feed. And the mystery behind how that all works someday is going to be worthy of a movie or two. Google's offering Files Go app beta to more users. This was initially detected. We talked about it, and then Google took it down, but the cat was out of the bag. So they've basically reintroduced this new file manager, and basically more folks can be beta testers on it, all right? NASA insists its Mars rocket will still be ready to launch in 2019. So they're aiming to launch its deep space-bound space launch system again December 2019. And even though the review such is not likely to fly until 2020, we're getting closer, much, much closer. But it seems like it's taken forever. Apple has expanded its free coding curriculum to schools outside of the United States. Over 29 U.S. universities have adopted the Apple development with Swift curriculum. And this is a free coding curriculum which launched for high school and community colleges in May, and has been growing in popularity over the last few months. It had 6 community colleges systems on board at launch. In August, the company announced that over 30 had worked the curriculum into their course offerings for the 2017-2018 year. So they're giving it to schools for free, and the schools still charging for it? That is the question. But anyway, some overseas schools are going to get it as well. And my son and I were talking about Swift a little bit tonight before he's doing a chaperone thing for my son this evening. Him and my daughter are. Hey, PayPal offers an easy way to pool money for those holiday gifts. With the holiday season just around the corner, PayPal has launched a new feature that makes it easier. We don't often have to pool money in order to gift something to a family member or colleague, but when we do, it's a pain, right? Or coach. So I think this is a great idea. Great idea. Money pools by PayPal. Brilliant. Very easy. If you have a coach you're buying a gift for and everyone needs to give $10, you just do that. Awesome. Twitter's halted its verification after backlash of Charlottesville organizer. Twitter gave the little blue check mark basically saying this person has been verified. He was the white supremacist that was basically the guy behind the Charlottesville stuff. And why Twitter verified his account, no one knows. And man, people, as you would expect, went off the wall. And Twitter's been doing damage control on this today. And by the way, I love the 280 characters. I feel just a little bit extra is what I've always needed. I don't have to leave key parts of what I want to say out. I can get my full message. It's fantastic. And I haven't run up against the buffer yet. So I didn't need all 280. And I don't think most of us will, but it's just like an extra 20, 30 characters. It was awesome. It really is. So that 280 thing is a welcome for me. Hey, Uber IPO being planned for 2019, says their CEO. Like any of us are going to be able to get in on that, right? I don't think so. Okay, Facebook will teach the unemployed digital social media skills in 30 cities. So this is good. Their Facebook today announced a community boost, and it's investing tens of millions of dollars in programs that will travel to 30 cities in the United States in 2018 that will teach digital job skills to unemployed, internet literacy for those getting online. startup methodology to entrepreneurs and customer growth to small business owners. So good on Facebook for doing that. Apple's pushed out iOS 11.1.1 fix to basically fix that annoying autocorrect bug. And also some issues with Siri randomly failing. AT&T also made a public statement. They said that the Department of Justice never demanded CNN's sale and Time Warner deal, as was being reported yesterday. So again, the AT&T CEO said the Department of Justice never demanded that they sell. They basically suggested, but they did not demand it. So anyway, yesterday's reports were fake news. Google's urging the FEC to adopt more specific rules for political ads. They're looking for guidance around ads about hot button issues as well as those for candidates. And they're basically leaning on the Federal Elections Commission to say, how do you want us to report, handle, deal with all this? And boy, it's going to be expensive because they're going to say, well, you got to do it just like the television networks do. And radio, you're going to have to report what ads you run, how long, the number of spots, blah, blah, blah. On more fun news, Star Trek Discovery Season 1 resumes on January 7th. And the season finale of the hit show will stream February 11th on CBS All Access. Alphabet's Project Loon is delivered internet service to about 100,000 people in Puerto Rico. Of course, the population of Puerto Rico is much, much bigger. But 100,000 is an impressive metric on its own. And just being able to make it happen with an island population of 3.5 million, it didn't get everybody, but it has been able to get some internet service in some areas that have been completely disconnected and still are. Time Warner sale to AT&T has hit a snag. AT&T was set to acquire Time Warner, but during an investor call, AT&T's CFO John Stephenson said that the timing of the closure of the deal is now uncertain. He said that he declined further comments, but probably the DOJ is not wanting that to go down, as it was indicated in that past article. They think there's a little bit too much consolidation. But there's also being said, far as so let me just switch gears here to the next topic. Voice-enabled smart speakers to reach 55% of U.S. households by 2022. I think it's going to be more than that. I just can't imagine it's not climbing very, very quickly already. Little H2O hit there. Now, I found this article on CBS. Like I laughed. So when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I was involved. And remember, I was a country boy. Grew up on my grandfather had a cash crop farm. My father was a contractor, but I was heavily involved in 4-H and FFA. And we raise registered Suffolks, which is a breed of sheep. They are not wool sheep. They're primarily meat sheep. And we, for a number of years, we did very, very well and had a number of ewes. And a ewe is a female sheep. And we sold a number of lambs every year. And I can tell you many, many stories. And we were breeding a really impressive breeding line. Then I went into the Navy and my sister, and at one point we sold the flock. But I always knew sheep were pretty smart. If they heard my voice, just my voice, and it was around feeding time, man, they were lined up and ready when I got there. It was almost like a dog getting home and wanting his bowl filled, right? And just the act of me coming out of the house at 5 o'clock in the morning would get their attention. So they were cued, and it was always pretty remarkable to me. But according to new research, and when you're thinking, what the heck are you talking about sheep on a podcast for? But according to new research from the University of Cambridge in England, sheep are able to recognize human faces. Well, I kind of knew that already, but also from photographs. And so sheep have pretty big brains. They're pretty social. So I thought this was kind of cute. Anyway, No more talk about sheep. Bad. You learn something new every day on this show about me, right? Media streamer upgrade guide. Now, how to decide if you replace your Apple TV, Chromecast, Fire TV, Roku, or whatever you have. So there's a good gouge here. So if you're due for an upgrade or think you might need an upgrade, definitely check this out. This covers the lot of them. It tells you what you're getting or what you're not. A little bit of controversy going on. Apple says it immediately contacted the FBI about unlocking the Texas shooter's iPhone. And this is basically going against what the FBI has said. And Apple today tried to head off another encryption showdown with the FBI, saying it reached out to the Bureau to offer assistance in getting into the gunman's iPhone and expedite its response to any legal process. We know that the attack has left 26 people dead and many more folks injured. And, but the FBI cast blame on Apple yesterday without having mentioned the company by name. He basically blamed industry encryption from preventing law enforcement from accessing the contents of the device. Well, the FBI did not ask Apple for assistance during the critical 48-hour window in which his fingerprint could have still unlocked an iPhone. And an Apple spokesman in a statement obtained by BuzzFeed now confirms it did contact the FBI with offer assistance upon learning of Kelly's iPhone on Tuesday. So, a little he said, she said going on here. Too bad they didn't get in. Apple's next iPad will steal the iPhone X's best features, so you would expect that to roll up. That will be on the market lineup in 2018. Do you have a Wi-Fi problem? Do you have a 3D printer? Well, for 35 bucks, you can print yourself a little reflector that the folks at CNET says works pretty good. And they have a link to it, so you can actually download the CAD file that you're going to need to print this up. So pretty cool. Link will be up in the show notes for that, for those of you with 3D printers. And if any of you have a 3D printer that prints any of these, print me one and send me one. I'd love one. Uber's plan to launch flying cars in Los Angeles by 2020 really could be, pretty awesome. So around 4 p.m., this person at Wired headed into battle. He climbed into his tank sitting in my driveway and ventured out onto the freeway. And over the next 90 minutes, covered 23 miles. That sounds like me. And Uber really has a solution, one that goes beyond summoning someone to be do the driving, and they want to fly you, Uber Air, and get you there at 200 miles per hour. And they want to offer these by 2020. What's it going to cost? I don't know. But man, sometimes bypassing traffic might be worth $100 bill if it's that cheap, but who knows what it's going to cost. Anyway, link will be up. You guys can check it out. Visa is unveiling an NFC-enabled glove for the Winter Olympic Games. So, of course, Visa has always been, a big sponsor of the Olympics. So if you're wearing a glove, you can just wipe your hand over the sensor and pay. So pretty cool. The payment glove will offer fans a way to pay safely and securely without having to get their hands cold. And the gloves contain a dual interface chip hosed with a contactless antenna, capable of completing purchases throughout official Olympic venues. And how much it's going to cost for the gloves? $500 or something like that? Doesn't say. But of course, this is kind of niche stuff that they're going to use. Reach into your pocket and pull out your credit card. Amazon Smile has come to the United Kingdom. Donate some of your spend to charity. Customers already have raised $62 million for 230,000 charities in the United States. And of course, now they're going to make this available. Amazon's UK initiative works the same as it does in the US. 0.5% of the purchase, excluding VAT, are donated to the UK specific charities when bought via smile.amazon.co.uk. So if you buy via that link, again, 0.5% of purchase, excluding VAT, shipping fees, and returns, are donated to folks like the British Red Cross, Royal British Legion, Magic Breakfast, Royal Manchester Children's Hospital Charity, RSPCA, Save the Children, Scottish Women Aid, and Stonewall are on board as well. So awesome for those of you that live in the UK. Uber and Lyft going to test design pickup spots in San Francisco. These are awesome. And when we go to CES, they have designated pickup spots, and they route the Uber drivers through there. And if you walk up and there's a driver sitting there, and you usually get a car within seconds. It's fantastic. So it's good to see they're going to be doing this in some cities as well. Vodafone has signed a deal with City Fiber to connect 5 million homes to full fiber. So this is good. For those of you in the UK, very awesome. And that they're continue to get more options for broadband uh, and more competition. If you want a history of Android, there's a good article in Computer World that takes you from 1.0 all the way to today. So if you're an Android fan, you can reminisce and look back at where things have went. Again, that Las Vegas self-driving bus crashed in the first hour. They're saying it was the driver's fault, but not a good start. Okay, the next articles I'm going to cover really flash fast is a whole bunch of deals. You can snag a 128 gig micro SD card for $30. That's an amazing price for a micro SD card. 128 gigs, $30, and it's not by it's by SanDisk. It's a SanDisk Ultra Class 10, so fast enough to do HD recording. A printer you can actually not worry about too much. The folks at Brother have a $60 printer. Oh, sorry, it's sold out. You know, when I go to CES, we always need a printer, and I always go look for the cheapest. The last time we were there, we got check this out. We got a laser printer for like $43, and I got a $20 coupon back for it. We used it, and I donated it. I'm just like, I brought it down. I'm like, anybody want a printer? And right in the hotel, someone said, I'll take it home with me. And someone took it. We used it all week. And I essentially rented a printer for $23. More expensive to ship it home, or ship one in than just to buy one. So it was classic. And if you're only printing 100 pages, that initial starter ink doesn't run out. Best Buy's Black Friday deals. We've got all the juice on that. Link will be up in the show notes for you, of course. Then we've got, many of you are going to be starting some traveling around Thanksgiving. You're going to be traveling with the kids. Try to go device free. And if you try to go device free to get that quality family time without the kids crying because they don't have access to the tablet, there's some games. They've got a list of games over at lifehacker.com and how to keep your kids entertained during a long airport delay without electronics. All right. Of course, you got to keep those batteries charged, right? You can get a DJI Mavic Pro with remote for $699. It's a refurb, but by far the lowest price to date on DJI's amazing quadcopter, and you get a full 1 year warranty. And it's really an early Black Friday deal with 2 sweet speaker deals as well on this same page. So, who are the speakers by? One's a Bluetooth, and one is a desktop with a subwoofer. So anyway, all these deals are intermixed in the show notes today. I slid them to the end, but you're going to have to look through the stack. You can get a pair of Bose noise-canceling headphones for $179. That's about as cheap as you're ever going to see them. The Quiet Comfort 35, and it's a wireless pair. But those of you with frequent flyers may want to look at this. They've got a Roku. They got a pressure cooker. Matter of fact, the pressure cooker that's on sale is the exact one I have in my house. They got a Dell XPS, and they've got some cameras on sale. So a bunch of deals. Link will be up in the show notes. Whole Foods is getting in-store Black Friday discounts on Amazon Echo, Echo Plus, and Fire TV. So if you go into Whole Foods after Thanksgiving, who's in there? No one's going to want to buy food. Everyone's got refrigerator full of leftovers. We haven't decided what we're going to do for Thanksgiving this year yet. Also, if you're thinking about laptops for Christmas, Engadget has a lineup of laptops to consider. I'm going to be telling you, I love the Dell XPS and I love the MacBooks. Both really good choices. The Dell XPS you're going to pay a little more money for, but it's really a good computer. And of course, Walmart's Black Friday 2017 deals include Google Home discounts, 4K TVs, and console sales. Again, all these details will be in the show notes if you want to get your game plan together now for Black Friday and your online shopping and all that. Figure out what your credit card damage is before you go shopping. I think that's the key here. All right, I think that's all I've got for you tonight. So I thought I was going to run out of time. I'm actually done well on time. So I hope you've enjoyed today's show. And we'll be back Monday with a brand new setup. It probably will look no different for those of you that watch the show. Although I'm going to be experimenting with some new features that it has and see what we can do to play around with some stuff. But um, the old gear is going to be recycled and used, and then the new gear is going to go and become a prime here in the studio with really a lot of digital IP stuff being put in place. So I wrote the check already. I sent the payment check. Oh, those are big numbers to write on a check. Matter of fact, I screwed the first one up, so I had to avoid it. I wrote the second one. So, yes, I write my checks. I don't print them. I know, but you're helping out with GoDaddy this month will be big. Check those hosting plans out. New accounts at GoDaddy, picking up hosting accounts and so forth are gold. So consider it and tell your friends, family members, people that you know. Don't write it on the bathroom wall, but please tweet my link to mygeeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy page. Anything you can do to send traffic over. Also, I do want to say, I had it, I don't have it loaded. Shoot. Let me see if I can get it loaded real quick here because I want to do a call out to someone that did an amazing donation before we go. And I was basically, I almost missed it. So I want to tell Mauer, is it? Yeah, Mauer, thank you. Thank you for your one-time donation. Awesome. Awesome donation. I really appreciate it. That's fantastic. I want to thank you so much. And, we've got a lot of other folks that are continuing to donate month after month. We need to have a full insider discussion and thank you segment. We'll do that. So make sure those of you that are contributing, when you hit milestones, let me know. Because especially when you get to the $1,000 level, you get a cool gift. I don't keep an accounting. It all goes into PayPal, and I see the payments come in. So please do your own accounting. This is a complete trust system here. If you're contributing $2 a month and say you've done 1,000, then I may go back and look. But if you're at the $25 level and you've already hit the $1,000 donation level, please email me and inform me so that we can get you your club. That club is pretty awesome. It really is a Shark's Tooth Club. And so we've got a number of Ohana members that have gotten that already. So, but again, thank you so much for your support and your ongoing donation to the show. It's greatly appreciated. We use a good portion of that money every month to not only pay Kirk, but to pay the bloggers. So every penny really helps in keeping the machine oiled and running here. And of course, with the sponsor support as well, we're able to do that. I'm able to keep the lights on, insurance paid, and gas in my car, and be able to do upgrades to the studio periodically as well. Even though this one was a major stretch, but that's sometimes you have to do that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Take care. See you next time on the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone, take care and aloha.